So there's something that you talk about that has been a huge impact to me and to a lot of people, and it's what I feel like it's like that first domino that then just triggers a lot of different things in our Jesus journey, and it's the whole what stirs and robs your affection concept. So can you talk about that? Like, how did that come to you, and how do you apply that?
Well, it came to me by my wonderful husband, Sean. And I said, I'm taking that. It was a sermon. And I went, oh, that's so good. And who knows where he may have heard it, but it's something we've grabbed a hold of. Not something we probably created, but we grabbed a hold of because it made sense. It was that we probably lived a decade or two doing things that didn't bring us closer to Jesus without knowing it. And then we did a decade of life doing things that robbed us and made us just worse off, and we never put two and two together. And so the whole concept is, what stirs my affection for Jesus I need to do more of. So I now know that it's not selfish to say, I need some time on the porch. Not in the winter, because that's robs my affection for Jesus. I want out of the cold if I'm outside. But on the porch in good months, I know that that's not selfish to say, hey guys, I'm gonna go on the porch. Even if maybe their idea of spending time together, and by they I mean my kids or my husband, maybe, hey, you want to watch a show? Because that's kind of a go-to. I know that I can watch a show, but it may just keep me neutral. And so there's times I just know I'm needing more of Jesus and I'm needing more stirred in me, so I need more porch time. But then there's things that rob my affection, like, oh, I would love some Marco's pizza right now. And we had pizza today, let's be honest. A lot of it, a buffet. And then when we were eating it, I was like, oh, you ready for the gluten, dairy, and sugar headache? And sure enough, got it an hour later. But I know that just, ugh. And that's like outsmarting myself, and I'm learning that that's a very spiritual thing, to outsmart yourself, to know what you need to do to stir your affection for Jesus, and know what you need to take away that you've been doing that actually robs your affection for Jesus.
I think that is smart too. So when you know that something's gonna rob your affection, like for example, the really amazing pizza.
Yeah.
You know, like you know that will rob you of something, but at least you're prepared. Like you would know. It's not a surprise that could really throw you for a loop.
Right. Like, why am I depressed?
Yeah.
Why do I feel terrible?
Yeah.
Like, we talked about it. Like, I know I'm gonna feel this way, but I'm not gonna blame God because I've outsmarted myself to know if I'm just stressed, and then I'm only getting 6 hours of sleep and 6 hours of sleep, and well, I'm on purpose at this point, because I have the knowledge, robbing my affection for Jesus because I'm tired and cranky. So it is a wisdom that you put into practice so that you can stir your affection.
Yeah. So when you're continually making decisions that rob, and you wonder why you're in a rut, you're like, okay, so I need to start doing those things that stir.
Yeah.
That's super good.
Yeah. What are things that stir your affection?
Worship music, not the radio Christian music, let's just be clear. It's a specific worship, and it's a specific kind, and it's specifically in my house. In my car, I want dead air. I want space. Unless I want a Marco Polo, you guys, because then it's fun. And then it's like, oh, this is fun, it's girl talk. But I know the places that stir. So worship music in the right place. That would be in my home or on Sundays. I love that. A location, it's atmosphere. Spending time with Jesus and reading my Bible, even though that's not always the easy step, I know it will stir my affection. Good food that's classy and pretty and smells good and is multiple colors. Like, I've learned it's that detailed. And a quality time with people I love. That's
So good.
That's awesome.
What about you, Casey?
Definitely worship music, sunshine. Like I could just stand outside right now in the sun and be like, oh, it's so amazing.
Yes.
Time with my family. Time with my dogs. I do love my
You're
dogs.
that person. And you're a cat.
I do love my
Yes,
dogs.
person time.
Yeah.
Okay.
And like traveling. It doesn't have to be traveling far, but like going somewhere new. That's fun. Like new experiences.
That's super good.
What about you?
So somebody asked me mine actually the other day, and I'm like, mine are a little strange. So I really like organizing.
okay.
Really, like when I can organize my house and move things around and rearrange and just kind of create a new ambiance, I am all about that. Probably running just to clear my head. That always gets me.
For you.
I might be on my Rob's list. Yeah, working out so much.
Just awesome.
Just kidding. No, but running, organizing, music, dancing, being outside, bike rides with Jason. Yeah.
Okay,
You
did more than 5, and let's go back to dancing.
Tell me about dancing. Yeah. Like
all by yourself?
dancing.
Well, I mean, sometimes all by myself, but like if I could do if somebody could teach me dance, then I could do it. If I could take choreographed dance lessons all day,
Oh, I'm
I
with
would
you.
love
Let's
it.
go do it.
I would love to.
Let's do it. Okay.
Casey,
But I think this makes a good point. Everything we just said probably doesn't sound like super spiritual and like, oh, where do you find that in
Yeah.
the Word of God?
Yeah.
Like, because I want to learn some like hip hop dancing choreographed or some modern.
Yes.
Like, I'm not looking for worship dance. But I agree. Let's go do some
Zumba.
dancing, and I
Zumba.
can be stirred. I think that this speaks to that desire in people to have self-care
Yes.
and this desire to like get better, but they're grasping for things or they're doing things not realizing that could tie back to Jesus if you realize
Yeah.
that as you get good, if you're healthy, then you're healthy for others. And Jesus is able to speak to you because you've kind of put down some walls because you're just feeling solid. You're feeling good. So I love that
So good.
none of that sounded super religious, but all of it is very Jesus-centered.
yes. Oh, so good.
But when we talk about priorities, I think something that I've learned over being married for the years I've been married, and as I watch other married couples, is sometimes those priorities get out of whack a little bit, especially when you have kids. And a lot of times, the priority of God, me, my spouse, and then my kids, when the kids come along, those priorities get flipped. And I don't think it's done purposefully. I think it's just by nature.
Yeah.
But when you know that here are my priorities, and even though I'm adding the kids to that priority list, I'm not switching one out for another. And so I think that happens a lot in marriages, and that makes it really hard. I know one thing that I have been taught, or people whose marriages I really respect have told me, is something to really focus on is we need to keep the mindset of dating our spouse. Because
So
when
good.
we lose that perspective of dating our spouse, it just becomes like a routine.
Yeah.
We miss out. I mean, when you think about dating is fun.
Yeah.
You like prep for it. Like I get a new outfit, or I get my hair done. Like that shouldn't change because I'm married. It should still be something. And so, how can you speak to the importance of that? Of dating your spouse, or do you have a different way of saying that in your marriage to keep it to keep it at an important thing? Because you're right, we say that in our house too. Like if my kids were to ask me to choose between my husband and my kids know that dad will win, my husband will win, and that's not a bad thing. Because you're right, when our marriages are solid, it's a benefit for our kids.
Yeah.
So how would you speak that in your language, and why is that so important?
Well, I've never thought of it, but as you were saying date, a word came to me, and I'm glad it did, because then you asked, how would you say that? We need to impress our spouse.
Yeah.
And I think we quit impressing our spouse. And I think dating can seem overwhelming. Like, well, we can't afford it now. Well, our kids go to bed at 7:30. When are we going to go on a date? Well, we don't live near parents or a babysitter. We can't afford a babysitter. So dating can kind of become like that. Yeah, that works for you. Or, and you just throw all that advice out the window. But if we could go, wait, I need to keep dating my spouse, or I need to keep impressing my spouse.
I love that.
I will take off
good.
the jogging pants and the yoga pants and put on jeans.
Yeah.
I will do my makeup and hair even if I have nowhere to go. And I'm guilty of this. Like when I get home, hair goes up and it's just like, sorry, like this is the leftovers of the day. And that's not what I would have done
Yes.
if I was dating
for
Sean.
sure.
I went to freshen up and look better
Yes.
because I'd see him later.
Yes.
And when we lose that, we wonder, we really do, and we don't want to take the responsibility when our husband or our wife, their eyes start wondering and they start to feel like maybe you don't love or respect them because you don't find it necessary to impress them.
Oh, I like that word a lot. I heard someone say, maybe it was me. And after I said it,
it was the great
maybe it was me. It wasn't a good thing. But after I said it, it was like a ha-ha laugh thing. But after I said it, I'm like, oh, that is a terrible thing. I said, BJ had said, you remember you used to do this, or remember you used to, get a new outfit, or you would do this. And I said, well, those are the things I did to get married. I'm married now. And but like after I said, oh, that is so bad, because you're right. Like, why would my spouse feel valued? Why would I decide to stop being the person I was? So that I love the word impress.
Yeah, that's
super
new.
good.
This just in.
Yeah,
Date or
good.
impress. Yeah,
and I think if you
it's
have a healthy marriage, I mean, you know one another. Like, I don't expect BJ to be dressed up and
stay in his shoes
every
all
day.
night.
Yeah,
Get your boots on.
Like, I mean, there's a reality to it. But so if you have a good enough marriage and you communicate well enough, you know that there are days that a ponytail and yoga pants are just gonna be what I'm in.
Yeah.
But if you are intentional about impressing your spouse, that's noticed, and that makes them feel important. It would make me feel important.
Yeah.
So
I started wearing tennis shoes. Well, now I like wearing them a lot, but I would never wear tennis shoes for years. And Sean loves tennis shoes. If anybody knows him, he likes Jordans, he likes Nikes, he now likes some other brands like Adidas and Under Armour. And I noticed that on our date days, or we'd go to Milwaukee, or I knew we were gonna spend time together, I noticed I'd put on tennis shoes. And it was this, I didn't realize what I was doing, but then I noticed he would say, I like your outfit. Well, it was about the shoes, but then it was like the next time it made me want to put on tennis shoes, and it was this subconscious thing I didn't know was happening. Yeah. And I think that's the point. It's that, she did, and he would say, I think you did that for me. Okay, that's enough, right?
As long as, if they think that, we want them to think that.
Yes.
I heard somebody say early on in our dating / like engagement period, somebody told us to vacation yearly, retreat monthly, and date weekly.
Oh, that's so good.
And so that's like something that's kind of like stuck with me. No, sometimes weeks get crazy, but we do try to find some. And I feel like with date, like sometimes I feel like it has to be out of the house.
Yeah.
Because I feel like if you don't escape the house, you just sit and do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like friends as an adult and friends as a young adult or as a kid, it's just so different. Yes. And sometimes we, I think in our heads that the friendships and the type of friendships that we had as, kids or even young adults, that's what friendship should look like, where you're always with each other and every weekend it's
riding
girls'
bikes
nights out, riding bikes, and sleepovers and
on the phone all the time,
on the phone constantly, and with time and with maturity that just starts to change. Yeah. So what do you feel like as an adult that friendship should can look like as we change and as we grow?
Like, I know I have people that I would call my really good friends, and they would call me their really good friends, but we don't see each other but maybe once a month. But I think it's where what is your friendship rooted in? Like, my identity isn't built on my friend. Our identity is, we do share the Jesus thing. Mm-hmm. And we have I feel like because we're confident in the lives we live and our families, that I don't feel insecure that I don't talk to that person all the time every day. And so, but I do think that gets misconstrued sometimes. Like, some adults feel like, well, if I don't see them all the time, or if they didn't meet me for coffee every week, something must be wrong. Right. Or maybe we're not good friends, but that's not always true.
Yeah. There's that pressure.
Go ahead.
Yeah, there's sometimes that pressure to feel like you have to be what you see, on social media with people posting, and they're going on trips, and they're like going out to dinner all the time, and you're like, I am here with my cat.
Yeah. Well, and
dinner.
It is that comparison, because I would agree, if I see all of the girls standing in line with their knees bent and they're all in a row and they all look just like they had the time of their life and they're in dresses and all of that, and it's 7:00 on a Wednesday night, I'm like, oh, jealous, Christian jealous. But I'm actually not, when I really think about it. I'd actually rather be in my yoga pants with my hair up, not impressing my husband on Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Like, that reality is, Oh, probably if I had to dress up and go there as an adult with a life and kids and a marriage, I'd probably be like, oh, I don't really feel like doing something tonight in the middle of the week. But when we just are looking at that picture, we even fool ourselves to think we're wanting and desiring that. And I think that the solid friendships, like you said, are the ones you're not having to keep up with each other, or how much is she giving me and how much am I giving her. True friends, it's like, man, we can see each other after 2 months and we left off. We started where we left off.
That's super
And
good.
friendships are important. Like when we talk about the priorities, they are like down here because there's other things we have to take care of first. But friendships are important to have in our lives.
Yes.
But what kind of friends should we be looking to spend our time with? Like, what are good qualities or characteristics of a friend? Because that's like an important title to have when you call someone your friend.
Right. Well, I think that we're surrounded by people that probably, surrounded every day, everywhere we go, by people who aren't yet there on their Jesus journey. So if I'm invested in being invested in by someone, I want them to be where I'm at on the Jesus journey, or I'll even take it they're ahead of me and I'm like running to keep up because I want to be more like Jesus, like them. Or they're just a few steps behind where we still can like talk at this level of peer and of the same kind of expectations of our Jesus journey. So because we can be surrounded by all kinds of people, I'd rather say my friends have these core values, so they're going to push me to be better.
How would you suggest really developing that daily Bible habit? And is it really valuable to do a daily habit, or like, would you do it weekly? I mean, how do we best kind of dive into the Word?
So I'm outsmarting myself, word of the day, by having my YouVersion app text me or email me. I have it email me because I tend to check work emails, and sometimes text, if I open it, it goes away. But my emails are all together, and so I have my verse of the day email me. So I know I'm getting a verse a day. Right now I'm getting a Proverbs a day. I love that. It's accountability. But say on a normal week, my goal is 3 days a week I read my Bible and I prayer journal. Just like my goal would be I work out 3 days a week. Because anytime I've tried to work out 5 to 7 days a week, it doesn't work. By January 12th, I give up, I stink, and you quit. So I'm like, I don't want that to happen with the Bible. I think if we would set realistic expectations that 3 days a week, because I have a day off, I could use Sunday afternoon if I didn't get it in the rest of the time, and sometimes it's Saturday morning. It's not like I only have to do during the work week. I need an hour before work. For me, I just probably won't get up earlier. I've learned that. So when I get up, do I have time certain days of the week and get at least 3 in? And then I am opening up my Bible. I like books, but I don't think books should replace the Bible, and I think that started to happen. We go, well, she's a Christian author, or we've heard she might be Christian, and we replace her with the Word of God. I think we can have companion books, or we can have an author plus we have the Bible, and then prayer journaling. I think if we're not processing it out loud or on paper, then it is just going in, but is it going in, doing this, and coming out?
So good.
Awesome.